Coming up. Yeah. Come up now. Can't stop me. You coming up.
Hey, everybody. I know y'all missed us tremendously. We have been out for 2 weeks and we're back. Did you miss us? We missed y'all. It was weird. Wasn't it kind of weird not being on these past 2 weeks? Like, shouldn't we be doing something? Like, what's going on? But we're back today.
Yeah.
Happy holidays to everyone. We hope that you had an amazing Thanksgiving with your family. We hope you had good time with your friends. I didn't get a chance to spend time with my entire family, but I was there with my mom and my kids and my grandchildren and with Dr. V and Tim, her husband. So we had a great time then. But we are here today. Welcome. As you are coming in, can you do us a favor? Will you share this broadcast out? We are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook, on Mo's page, on my page, on House of Peach page. Wherever you share it from, share it. We have a topic for you tonight that we know is going to open up some great discussion. So if you so desire to join us and you want to join in the conversation, which we are begging you to, because although Mo and I can carry this, we want to hear from all of you, male and female, about our topic. So Mo, how have you been? What's been up with you?
I've been great, actually. It's been kind of nice to have I don't want to say a little bit of a period of rest, but it has been like that. I only have one more birth for this year, but the calendar's already starting to fill up between, food and doula support for the next year. So, I'm excited about that.
That's good.
And trying to get homeschooling, field trips and all that kind of stuff, squared away. But yeah, everything is good. How about you?
You know me, living the dream.
I know. You did Thanksgiving in Florida, girl.
I know that. I was actually, hey, Maybach, we were supposed to originally go to Valdosta and stay there. And then I decided, and I have to say that it was God that dropped it in my spirit to do it. And I called Dr. V and I was like, what are you and Tim doing for Thanksgiving? She was like, nothing. Like, you're not going anywhere, having people come? She's like, no. I said, well, what do you think about me and the family coming and spend Thanksgiving with the two of you? And she was like, really? So it became a thing. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we had a good time there. Ariel was out of school the entire week, which was shocking. The entire week of Thanksgiving out. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't.
Why? Did they
I haven't had that.
Teacher and service day on top of the holiday?
I don't know. I don't know. I just was shocked. Like, I had to look at the calendar a few times to make sure that I saw what I was seeing. Like,
I bet
the whole week. But I still had to work. I still had to teach online Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, which wasn't bad, but still, yeah. But it was still good. Life is lifing. Things are good. Just trying to get my footing and get some prayers answered and some direction on some things that have come up. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? Okay, God, where do you want me to go with that? So, all in all, I'm not complaining. I'm good. So, but tonight, so happy for. All right, so we have hello, Evangelist Adams. I see you. As you come in, if you would say hello. Are you watching on your page? Because we, for some reason, can't.
Yes. Yeah, that's why I was like, let me get in over here real quick.
So if you're on my page, I'm going to shout you out on my page. Mo's going to shout you out on her page. And I don't have another device to shout you out on another one. So we're going to have to just do it this way. But thank y'all. Listen, share this out. This topic. Mo, tell them what the topic is.
So hold on, let me make sure I got this. We don't get any feedback. So the topic is, how do you, give of yourself fully without losing yourself.
Yeah.
I think this is definitely great when it comes to entrepreneurship, but we all know that, it applies to our personal lives as well. So,
Right.
hey,
Right.
Dominique, how you doing?
So we're going to talk about it from all aspects, from relationship to business partnerships to entrepreneurship, any kind of way. But if you want to join us and give your take on the topic, we would love for you to come on. We would love to have you come in and have something to say, whether you stay the whole time or you just come in and say what you want to say and then drop out. Hey, it's up for you. So we want to get started. So next year is going to be a great year for us, even greater than this year was. Morgan and I are doing meeting and planning for next year to give you bigger and greater and better than what we gave you on this year. This year was great and has been great, but we can always improve and give you more. And that's what we are going to do. We are putting our beautiful heads together and all of these creative thoughts and ideas along with Peach and Smack. And we're going to bring
Yes.
out House of Peach even greater for 2024. So if you would like to be on our show, whether it is for entrepreneurship or for the he said she said, then definitely we want to hear from you. You can reach us through the House of Peach page, through our pages, our personal pages, any of those. We get all those messages. You can email us and let us know. All right, so
Yes.
I'm gonna tag my
Hey,
phone.
Pampers. Hey, Key.
Let me put this
Well, I was
in.
like, we got people coming on. Hey, guys. Hey, guys.
Oh,
So yeah, I was like, definitely type into the comments, on either one of our pages, or any of the platforms that you are watching from. This way, even if you don't pop on, that we can be able to get your input.
absolutely. We want to. This is, although we are the hosts of the show, we would like to include everyone. We want you all to be a part of what we have going on. So next month, we are going to have one, maybe two of our shows that highlight some of our guests from 2023 and have them on there on the show. So I'm excited about that. As a where are they now? What's happened since the show? So we're going to have that. So for those of you that have already been on the show, you could get a phone call from us at any time to say, hey, we want you to be on the show, kind of recap, talk about what we did, a little bit of what we did, and let's just see where you are and what's going on, because our audience grows every single week. And we want to make sure that if someone just started following us and they didn't get to see some of the previous folks, we want them to be able to connect with them. So that's a good thing. I'm excited about that.
Absolutely.
So
Did you know that algorithm be doing this thing?
it be algorithming. That's what it does. The algorithm be algorithming.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So, hey, Jason, I see you.
All right. And hey, Stella. Hey.
Hey. So, where do we want to start? Do we want to start with the entrepreneurship side of our topic, or do we want to start with the relationship side? I have my opinion, but I want to see what you say.
We are first and foremost, an entrepreneurship podcast. So let's, deal with business first. And then I was like, because the crazy thing is that it all,
it's all going to tie together. It's all going to tie together. Yeah, and it's all going to end up in that direction anyway. So I've had some people reach out to me and was like, oh my God, the topic. Yes. And I didn't come up with that. Morgan did that. All right. So the topic is, how do you keep from losing yourself? How do you give yourself fully to something or to someone without losing yourself? So let's talk about it in entrepreneurship, because we know in the beginning of creating a business and starting a business or an organization, there's a lot of legwork that comes behind that. So you, as the founder, the CEO, the owner, whatever, you have to put all of the work in initially. So it's your baby. You're building and networking and doing all of that and putting systems into place and policies into place. But once this baby grows and now is up and running well, and you have some people helping and all of that, some folks have a difficult time with kind of taking their hands off some things and letting it run like they have. So then their entire life is disrupted because they put more focus on what they're doing when it's already been established and it's doing well, and you kind of can take a couple steps to not lose who you are and what you like. So then you become disconnected with the world and with who you are, because all you're doing, your focus is on this business, this business, this business. And we're not saying, or I'm not saying, not to give it the time and attention that it needs, because
Right.
you have to in order to gain the momentum that you need. But at some point in time, you have to recognize that you have needs, you have desires, you have things that you want to do in life, and you don't want to sacrifice that to when you get 10 years down the road, you're mad at yourself because you devoted all this time and you could have taken one day and done something, or one weekend. So how do you, because you have so many businesses, so much going on, from being a doula to having Deliciously Dope to what else do you do? My God, you do so. What don't you do? How about that? What don't you do? Because you do a lot. How do you balance that and still remain Mo and still do the things that Mo likes to do?
Well, actually, what I was going to say is, as much as we do need to take that step back, like you said, just to be able to allow life, for us to be present for life, that step back is also necessary for the growth of your business. If you're constantly right here all the time, you can't see all the stuff that's over here, all the stuff that's over there. That's why I have a Maya who can say, let me take care of some of this other stuff so that you can be able to see a bigger picture, because a lot of that ends up getting clouded. I can tell you it's not an easy thing. Right now, I am actually adding another certification to my belt. And right.
Oh my God. What?
I know. Listen, it's one of those things where it's like you see business opportunities, you see another stream of income, but then you also see how it works or ties into what you're already doing. So it's not necessarily going to require that much more work for me when it comes to client acquisition or what I would need to do in order to, to give what's necessary for that service. But I have already had to say, hold on. I have way too many things that are going on right now. So no, today I cannot devote my time to this business. You know what I mean? There are some days where I wear all three, almost four hats. There are some days where I only wear one. There are some days where I do two. You know what I mean? So it depends on the day. But I have had to get to a place where I matter. And if I don't take care of me, people will stop coming to my business, because at the end of the day, as I, said from the beginning, people buy into you.
Right.
So whether it's relationships or on this entrepreneur track, if you are not okay, if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not doing that step back and setting some real healthy boundaries in that, then you're absolutely right. You're going to stay there 15, 20, 30 years from now. Yes, you can see the fruits of your labor. I'm sure you're saving a lot of labor because you're still doing a lot of the work, but at what cost on the other end?
Right.
You know what I mean? I have an aunt who raised 3 children off of a Denny's salary. And one day they had to do renovations, and the Denny's was going to be closed for almost a month. That was her only source of income.
Wow.
And so she was like, you know what? let me just start cleaning on the side. So she started a small cleaning business doing some residential stuff. And eventually, by the time Denny's had opened up, she had gotten actually enough clients to be able to not have to go back to Denny's, to the
Mm-hmm.
point where now, the Section 8 housing that she was in was looking at her like, you make a couple extra more dollars and you're not going to qualify for this voucher anymore, which
Right.
was a great thing because, she had spent almost 18 years trying to raise 3 children, Denny salary, Section 8 housing. So fast forward, I want to say 5, 6 years into the business,
Mm-hmm.
she has now transferred from doing residential cleaning to commercial cleaning, and is
Mm.
almost now making 6 figures with just a few clients,
Oh, wow.
which is a wonderful thing. Now, when you think about it from us from a business standpoint, okay, we're in the 6 figure range, which we know the take home, because I don't think a lot of people
Mhm.
understand too, as much as a business brings in money, that's not, as far as the owner, that's not your take home. You don't
Yeah,
take home, your business makes $70,000. You're not pocketing
you're
$70,000 at
not when you take
all.
care of your overhead and your employees if you have them and insurance and
Exactly.
all of
Any
that.
of
You're not
that, any
coming
the
up with that.
cost of your, products, whatever you need to,
Right.
continue to replenish. So it got to a place where, she wanted to go on a vacation. She's worked her behind off. She's attempted to employ family, children, the next
Mm-hmm.
door neighbor, cousins, a whole 9 yards. So she, was obviously finding good help and finding good employees is something that's hard as well. So that
Right.
is something that actually kept her in a constant momentum with the business and never being able to pull away. It wasn't until literally this year, which I don't know if it's even 10 years in, 10 years in, she's been able to walk away and go away for 3 to 5 days on a
Mm.
vacation. My buddy owns an HVAC business. He just came back from Cancun. I said to him, I was like, dude, I am so proud of you. I was like,
Yeah.
you went away. I was like, I know how much he puts into his business. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
you really went away. Yes, it was for someone's wedding, but he went away and he stayed a
Yeah.
couple of extra days. And he goes, yes, he goes, I can finally say after, so many times of failing a business, but then, putting into this one again, that was the one who told me, do you have a plan B? If you don't have a plan B, then you've got no other choice but to make this work. He's like, now 7 years fully in, it is nice to be able to walk away and know that this works like a well-oiled machine. And if
Right.
nothing else, someone's just got to give me a phone call and say, hey, what do you think about this? But, it's not like he's got to go run and put out fires,
Yeah.
and that's every entrepreneur's dream at the end of the day. But you've got to know when to be able to pull back.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's the key component, even to just making sure that you don't burn out.
Yeah.
Because you
There
can
has
love
to
something enough to the point where people and or the job makes you even hate it. And you don't want to be in that space either.
Yeah, there has to be that great work life balance. You have to have that because we don't function well when things are off balance, or even in our physical bodies. If things excuse me, if things are off balance, if our blood volume is where it's not supposed to be, or our blood pressure is off, or anything of that nature, then we're not right. Like, we're not functioning like we're supposed to. So why, if that's the same way it is in our natural bodies with our physiological makeup, then why not in our lives? Like, you can have the business, you can do all of these great things, but you have to learn how not to lose who you are. Who am I? Who is Mo? Who is April? I think about the things that I love to do. And although I have several businesses, I still want to do those things that I like to do. I don't want to be consumed by what's going on in my life and my businesses to the point to where I can't breathe, or everybody's getting it. Like, they are getting the bad end of the deal. Like, I
Yeah.
don't have things together because I'm no longer who I am. I come out and they're like, well, April used to, dress this way, or she used to go so and get her hair done, and now she's just looking like she's run over. because I'm more focused on I need to do this, I need to do that. With this business, it's business, it's business, and then I don't. I have to read.
Well, some of us see it like it's almost like a cape, for instance. Noah was sitting here earlier. He had asked me to this kid is funny. He asked me to do an extra session of math today. He's in an online school. And so I was like, yeah, sure. After he finished that, he finished an entire unit by himself. I actually walked away for the first time, which is good because we're reading ready. We're not completely reading yet. So for him to independently handle that was really good. So he's playing this dragon game, and he finds out that he has a shield. So it comes, I was like, the dragon comes with like 3 different weapons. And all of a sudden he finds out that he's got a shield. So he's like, Mom, did you know I have a shield? And I was like, no, I didn't. So, I'm hearing him talking, and he's, making up this whole like fantasy world in this game or whatever. And he's like, Mom, I'm losing my superpowers. If I lose my powers, who will I be?
Oh, wow.
And he kept saying it. And I was just like, if I lose my superpowers, who will I be? And I'm like, that's like Spider-Man in those Spider-Man, those movies. Like, if he can't go shoot webs and, save people anymore, who is he? He's just Peter Parker. Well, who exactly is Peter Parker? Like, underneath that cape, underneath all of these layers of all of the things that we do, and that includes being parents, that includes, whether it's employees or entrepreneurs, all of these different hats and spaces that we put ourselves in don't, at the end of the day, define who we are. They're just things that we do. But who exactly are you? And it's easy to get yourself wrapped up in the business. Just the same as, I was taught first getting into business, how, a lot of jobs, especially for those who are intended to be entrepreneurs, that's exactly what the job is. The job is meant to keep you busy from doing what you are actually supposed to be doing. So it's a distraction. We can use our own businesses as distractions as well from the things that we are supposed to be doing. Again, I should be working on my marriage right now, but my business seems like a whole lot more fun for me to play with. You know what I mean? I should be dealing with my kids right now, but I would rather be online doing X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? So I was like, there's always a space where you have to be able to find that balance where you don't want to feel like you're pulled in 50 million directions. I know there are times where I'm like, I wish I could just clock out.
Yeah.
Like, is there a time where my phone is not ringing, their text message isn't coming through, where it's not something from someone for a business that I have? Now that's a great problem. Lord, I am not complaining. That's a great.
Let's clarify. Let me make this clear.
Not complaining.
Right.
But where exactly is that? And so my therapist looked at me and he's like, Morgan, you haven't even turned your notifications off for our session. And I was like, oh, you're right. So now the only time, unless I know somebody is potentially in labor, I have to put that do not disturb on, because he's right. Emails come through, group chat messages come through, Maya sending me a message real quick. You know what I mean? Whatever. And it's like, oh, why? You know.
I understand. So for those of you that just joined us, we are in our He Said, She Said series for tonight. And our topic is, how do you not lose who you are yourself? Give yourself fully without losing who you are. So we are first talking about entrepreneurship and those that have started businesses or getting ready to, how they can balance their lives so they don't lose who they are. And I absolutely love what Noah said. Who would I be if I lose my shield, if I lose my cape, if I lose that? Who am I? So we have to have a great understanding of who we are, and no matter what we are involved in and what we're doing, don't lose that. Because you have said it on a number of shows, and you just said it again tonight, that people are buying into us. So if we get so consumed with business and we lose that flair of who we are that drew our customers in the first place, then we're not going to draw anymore. And we could potentially lose the ones that we have because they bought into us and who we are and how we showed up and how we presented ourselves. So if we just pump the business, and then we're frazzled, we forget things, we miss the mark on a lot, and we're just not as personable as we were before, then that's
Right.
not it's not going to work. And I
Absolutely.
don't, because I've lost April in so many things, I refuse to let that happen.
Yeah.
I refuse. I will be and am successful. Now I am successful and I do a lot, but I'm still going to maintain, and I'm really getting into who I am because I never was showing up as the authentic April as I should have. But now that I am, I love this person, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to allow my businesses to take that away from me and to now cause me to be another way because I have these businesses and I'm doing all this stuff. No, I'm still going to
Right.
be who I am because
Absolutely. And you know what's crazy? I want to say maybe about 10 years ago, was when I started doing things by myself.
mm,
And doing things by yourself, and it can be the smallest thing from going out to lunch, going to the movies. I went as far as to go to a couple concerts by myself. And I have traveled by myself. So those things, believe it or not, have taught me something about me that I would have not found in my everyday doing.
mm-hmm,
It put me into situations where it was like, oh, I didn't even know I had this in me.
mm-hmm,
Or, I didn't even know I liked that. You know what I mean? So being able to do that, because when you're around other people, you also have to cater to people. You have
mm-hmm.
to, be thinking about someone else, even as a group. You know what I mean? You can't just, we're all fine. It's not a dictatorship when you're dealing with other people, but when you're by
Yeah.
yourself, you can literally just make whatever decisions that you want to
Right,
for yourself. And
right.
I feel like that is even more reason, especially when it comes to a relationship, to find that time
Mm-hmm.
for yourself,
Right,
because you're
right.
supposed to be bringing the you to the table. You know what I mean? There's a lot of men who are out here like, I really don't feel like, there's one person for everybody. There's multiple people. I'm not the same person that I was 5 years ago. And I know I'm not the same person that I was 6 months ago. And I know
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be the same person next year. So you've met three versions of me. So
Right.
even in a relationship, like, you don't get bored, because if the person is actually doing work, there's personal growth, and they are spending time to not only work on what you guys have going on, but specifically to work on them. That's
Mm-hmm.
bringing something else to the table that allows you to not lose yourself. There's a
Yeah,
big difference between catering to someone, caring for someone, as we've said in other episodes, even submitting
yeah.
to your partner, which
Right,
does not include you losing yourself.
right.
Being vulnerable does not mean that you lose yourself. You
Mm-hmm.
actually should be gaining even more in
Right.
that vulnerability if it's with the right person.
Yeah. I think it was last year, maybe the year before, when well, it was last year when I really started doing things for me. So I did a lot of what you said about, going out by myself and doing things. And I'll never forget I love going to Red Lobster. I just do. That's just my thing. And I'm so accustomed to, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this. And I'm just going, going, going. But I took the time to, you know what? I'm going out to dinner and I'm going by myself. So I went and I got in there and I sat down. I'm like, oh, wow. I'm like here by myself. This is crazy. Like, I'm so used to being
Yeah.
with someone. Like, this is weird. And I found that I was about to get into that. Let me hurry up and eat so I can get out of here and go home. And I'm like, no, April, calm down. relax yourself, enjoy this time, sit here. So I sat there and the music was playing. It was really good. And I had me a couple glasses of wine and I ate and I just took my time and just sat there. Like, this is nice. And of course, majority of my travel that I do is by myself. So I find that I'm not so constrained with trying to please somebody else
Right, right,
or, catering to somebody else. It's like, what do you want to do? What do you, because the decision is yours today. What do you want to do? So when I was in Costa Rica, it's like, okay, do I go to the pool or do I walk to the beach or what are we going to do today? Or do I just want to go sit here at the restaurant and listen to the artists that they have there playing? I had decision, or do I just want to stay in my room and
right,
get in this hammock that's in this room and
right,
read and relax? So I had that choice and that decision to do that, because before my life was just running, running, running. And not to say I'm not still doing that, but I do take the time for me now. I'm not going to lose. I just discovered me. I'm not going to lose me. And I just discovered me,
absolutely,
in this, at the age that I am, just discovering me. And there's more to discover. So I have to understand, oh my God, you have these businesses, you're doing all this stuff and you're traveling all these places, but don't forget who you are, who you've discovered yourself to be. Still walk in that, because that is the essence of you. And how can you effectively be an entrepreneur if you're not going to be your authentic self, who you
absolutely,
are? That's where the
absolutely,
creativity comes. That's where all of the great relationships come, because you are entering in as who you are. So
right,
we always need to take a step back. And if we find things are going haywire, take a step back, take a day, do some reflection. Okay, where am I? How am I feeling? What's going on? Business is doing well, but I'm hearing this, or this is going on. What's going on with me? What do I need to do with that? And so then spilling over into relationships, like I have literally done that, gave myself from the beginning completely to this person and lost me. So I just thinking about my previous marriage and how I changed into somebody that when I look back on pictures and think about different events, like, wow, this really is not who I am. And I still want to be me. I still want to, because I'm still evolving and I still want to do that. Yes, I'm going to cater to him. I'm going to cater to what we have. I'm going to cater to all of that. But still, I'm still April. So I'm still going to need my time. I'm still going to need to do things for me. But at the same time, I'm not going to neglect that. So many people
right,
lose themselves. And I've seen it from the male and the female side. I've seen men so consumed with their wife or girlfriend or significant other that you don't, it's like, bro, where's your backbone at? Who are you? Like, you
yeah,
used to do this, you used to be this way, and now you've given up all the stuff that you love to do, all of the things
exactly,
that you aspired to do, all the conversations we had on what you wanted to do in life. Now it's gone because it's about what they want. It's about what they want.
exactly. No, I actually, I dated a guy that was like that, and he's just a natural giver at heart. So, it was nothing to him to just whatever I've got, you've got kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until multiple times of being taken advantage of that it was just like, oh, he had to literally like shut it off.
Mm-hmm.
And when we started dating, he was like, it was like a breath of fresh air. He would ask me, like, hey, can I go hang out with my boys? And I'm like, please. You know what I mean? I'm not the type of person that needs you stuck up underneath me 24/7. Please go do something so you have a story to come back and tell me. Like,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean? There
Right.
is and so that bit of autonomy that he was able to have was what really kept him, wanting to be in the relationship. I know that, in therapy, dealing with a lot of things of like wanting to know how to control or what you can control
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to a person, you can't control anybody.
Right.
You really can't. Like, if you try to, it's literally control, it's manipulation.
And it's
And
abuse.
it is
Definitely abuse.
abuse. And I think at
Yeah.
the end of the day, we all want to know that someone intentionally chose us or intentionally chose something that would, be beneficial to us rather than having been forced or given, an ultimatum. And so
Yeah.
my therapist is always talking about autonomy. And he was just like, you are allowed to be able to be yourself. That doesn't mean be your worst self and we excuse piss poor behavior because this is who you are. No, no, no.
Right.
But just in general, who you are, and you can't allow certain circumstances and or things to be able to change that.
Yeah.
So to be able to work on the steadfastness of who you are and be able to have a safe space
Mm-hmm.
to figure it out as we, like you said, you continue to evolve. Who you were before, you need to have a safe space to be where you are now and where you're going.
Yeah.
Because you don't have all the answers. You're not going to get it right between now and then.
Mm-hmm.
But there has to be a space where someone also can have some kind of empathy and be like, you know what? I see that you're trying, or I see where you're going, or April, it's okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Get back up and try again
Right.
kind of situation. And I feel like that is part of being able to not lose yourself
Mm-hmm.
and giving yourself fully, is having a partner that allows you to do that.
You're right.
And I think that that is so key.
Yeah.
If you don't have a partner, whether that's in business and or in a relationship, that allows you to be you, who allows you to bring you to the table. You see a lot of these moguls out here, husband and wife teams. Imagine if Beyonce was trying to tell Jay-Z what to do.
Right.
He's got a lane.
Mm-hmm.
They both votes. They both at the top of their game.
Right.
But I'm sure there are plenty of things that still he could teach her just the same as she could be able to teach him.
Mm-hmm.
So ego's got to come out the way, because you can't, there's no room for that in a relationship. That's also how you lose yourself, especially if you've got one person who's more egotistical or has brought their ego to the party and the other person hasn't, because then that automatically puts somebody else into a subservient space.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, that's the way our country, think about it. That's the way our country operates. You know what I mean? Somebody's got to be poor. Somebody's got to be, at the bottom. Someone's got to be losing. That's not how it's supposed to be in a relationship.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you're vulnerable. Like I said, again, your vulnerability is not a place of losing. You having your autonomy doesn't mean that, even in the sense of you guys becoming one, does that mean that you lose yourself?
Yeah.
Because if you're not taking care of you, you can't bring your best self to the relationship, which means now your partner loses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Everybody's
the
losing.
Whole everybody. Yeah, exactly. The whole shebang loses.
Yeah.
Add some kids to it. They really lose too.
Yeah. Because you're doing a disservice to yourself. You're also doing a disservice to them. And everybody else is they're getting the effects of that. So nobody's happy. And the house is just, the home is not a home. It's just a place that's dark and dismal, where people are not being themselves. They're not doing the things that they love. Like, you have to have that. If for those that are joining, if you want to join us and weigh in on our conversation, let us know. We will send you the link so you can join us in on this conversation about not giving yourself fully, but not losing yourself, whether it's in business or in relationships. So we're going back and forth between the business and the relationship side of it, because it all really ties in. And I've seen couples who, one may start the business and the other one may not be a part of it, but because they're spending so much time in the business, even after it's established and flowing well, they're still spending all of this time, and now the spouse is suffering for that. Because what happened to us? What happened to what we were going to do? What about us spending time together? What about us having a conversation? Because you're always here. It's always a business. So now this spouse or your partner is resenting not only you, but the business that you created. And they don't care about any success that's going on because they're not being considered. You are so
Right.
consumed with that and losing who y'all used to be together. Who were we before the business started? Can we make sure? And that, I feel like that should be something discussed before we venture out on anything, either one of us. Let's have a conversation because we know what this is going to entail. We know that it's going to require a lot of hours, a lot of attention in the beginning until it gets to flowing. And once it gets to flowing and working, but in the midst of all of that, what are we going to do to not lose ourselves in this and not forget who we are together? What we do together.
One of the most successful so far couples that I have seen, and this is like real life. Shout out to my girl Mo, who owns Sweets and Treats restaurant here in Smyrna. Her and her husband, when I say they do the thing, I'm not saying that they are a perfect couple, that they have everything together. I do know that they have 3 children. They are extremely involved in their children's extracurricular activities, as well as what they're doing in school. But she now owns a restaurant and a food truck.
Wow.
The average food worker works 80 hours a week. Owning, I know she puts in more than that, especially because it just opened. So she probably eats, sleeps, and showers in that building. But what I've also seen is a man show up at his wife's restaurant. So no, I might not be able to have the time that I would like to spend with her. But what he's doing is dying to his ego, and he's finding a way to insert himself his wife's life to be able to help, which is only doing what? Allowing the business to grow, which both of them benefit from at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. It needs to be a conversation. Like, I feel like if you have the entrepreneur bone in your body and you're not even in a relationship, or you're in the beginnings of a relationship, have those kind of conversations, because you're absolutely right. I feel like entrepreneurship will make or break a relationship.
Yeah, it will. It will, because
somebody definitely will. And it's because you put that time in. And the question is, even if this is not my passion, am I going to help you?
Right. Am I going to be supportive? And what does that look like? And am I willing to, I don't know. I don't want to say get on the back burner, because that's not what you want to do. But am I willing to kind of take a step here, maybe to the side, to support you and push you? And then once it's going like you want it to go and how we plan for it to go, then we can do other things.
Or you just carry more weight at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I've never been one really for gender roles. You know what I mean? I was in a long-term relationship where my partner would have stayed home, and I was totally okay with that. I trusted that he would have been home. You know what I mean? Like, kids would have been okay, if that's what we chose to have at the time. Well, not, you know what I mean? We would have been in a really solid place. So I want to say that knowing who you are as the other party is also what helps you to not lose yourself. You know what I mean? In the sense of, if you see me out here with a 36-hour birth, then kids still need to be taken care of. Dishes are still going to need to be washed. Laundry is still going to need to be done. All the things that if I were home, this would have, needed to be done. So while I'm out doing this and you see that that's what I'm out here doing, you know that the point of me doing this is to be able to put our family into a better, position, then why not pull out and do all of these other things so that when I do get home, I have nothing but time to relax and or to spend with you. So you can be able to create this bubble where you don't feel like you have to be lonely or that you're neglected or that, you know what I mean? I don't know too many folks who are really clingy, especially when it gets to like the marriage. Like, I mean, I have a aunt and an uncle who they probably call and text each other 25 times a day. Like 25 times a day. And I'd be like, y'all don't have nothing else to do but to text each other. Like, you know what I mean? Like, can't you give me just a little space in there? But I was like, but they are just so into each other that there really is no space to lose self either, because they are literally being themselves with that person. You know what I mean? So once again, having that partner that allows you to be able to have that space to be you is how you end up not.
And I like that example that you gave about, you being on the 36-hour birth and all these things that still need to be done. Because if you anticipate and forward think like, okay, let me do this. So when they come in, they don't have to worry about it. And then I can have my time, because there it is. There's nothing that you do other than you having to come in. If it's not done, like, okay, have the kid, I got to feed the kids. I got to make sure they get a bath. I got to clean up the kitchen. So then there is no time. And I'm irritated because I've been working and birthing these babies for 36 hours. And then I come in and all I want to do is take a shower and relax. And my relaxing time could be with you, but you're just pouting and mad or not even thinking or considering that, because it can work in your favor. So if we in relationships think about those things. Okay, what can I do so that when they come home or when we do get together, everything is done so we really can focus on each other? What can I do? There's something I can do. You're out, you're at the business, you're doing this, you're working, whatever. What can I do because I'm here? What little thing can I do? What couple of things can I do so it will make it to where we can be us and spend that time together? Some
these are conversations
don't think like that, and they don't have those conversations.
No,
and they should.
They really don't. Well, I think a lot of the time is because a lot of us don't know how to communicate. I know that this is a conversation that I have with a lot of my doula clients with their partners, especially when we get closer to delivery time, because I'm like, listen, we're not going to sit in the delivery room, and we're also not going to be sitting at home twiddling our thumbs like, well, I can't push the baby out, so I can't really do anything, or I can't, baby is breastfed, I can't, do that thing. No, there's still plenty that you can do, because at the end of the day, you're going to be asking her for some attention as well. That's just, or him some attention. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to be looking for that attention. So if your agenda is to spend time, then your agenda should be, how can I create time, especially when you see what the schedule is looking like, to be able to do that. My husband works nights. I remember when he first started working the job, I used to purposely go to sleep earlier. So at his lunchtime, I could get up, drive 10 minutes away from the house just to go spend 30 minutes for his lunch break. Or I would wake up and just get on the phone just to be able to talk to him so that we could be able to spend time. Why? Because all day he sleeps, which is the majority of the house, and the rest of everything is moving around. So he misses the family happenings. I get zero adult interaction. So instead of me sitting here complaining like, oh, well, what am I supposed to do? No, 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 no. I'm going to complain that the man's got a job that's paying the
Right.
bills because that sounds
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
But if I really want that time and I want to be intentional because this is something that I want, it's not about him wanting to spend time with me. It's me wanting to spend time with him.
Yeah.
So me making that extra effort to do that, person should, appreciate
And if you
it.
both are doing,
And that should be something that that's something that you guys can be able
yeah,
to grow. So certain things, I mean, not every situation is going to be
right.
perfect or ideal. Sometimes you have to make
Mm-hmm.
it what it needs to be.
Yeah,
You
that's
have
the
to
work.
create situations out of nothing in order to make it. Like I see some of these guys. Have you seen the guy who the babysitter canceled on him and his wife? I think they were in like England. So he goes and he orders from Walmart this blow up like little house, and he actually builds a whole bar in the house in the backyard.
Wow.
So the kids, I was like, so he gets the kids all together, the kids are asleep, and then he blindfolds her, has her come outside, and then when he takes the blindfold off, they walk into this like inflatable building. He acts like he's the bartender, has her sit down, he makes her a drink, and this two of them just sit there and they talk, they play a game at the whole night. You know what I mean? So it was like they couldn't go anywhere, but they still wanted to spend time with each other and they wanted to do adult things rather than sitting on the TV for an
Right.
hour realizing that Bluey is still on and they should have changed the channel. Like, you know what I mean? So you got up and actually did something and made something, and you don't think that those kind of memories, those kind of gestures don't go super far. They do. They go just as far when it comes to having a partner that's an entrepreneur and one that isn't. Yeah, sometimes you need to be that partner that turns around and is just like, you know what, babe? I took a look at the calendar. Right now, you don't have anything booked for the week of May 4th. We're going away. Sometimes you have to be that person to set that time if you know that it's hard for that person to be able to make boundaries, or you can see where there is a break where it's not going to be detrimental to the business. Like you have to create opportunities sometimes when you're on the other end of things, or I think on just both ends of things, so that things can be fair and can be balanced, because sometimes it just leans all on one person and then the person's over here like, well, I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't, and that's never a good space to be in,
because
either.
then you just completely back away and detach, and then before you know it, it's done, it's over. I think that both parties have something that they can bring to the table. Both parties need to use their creativity. That was very creative and very meaningful. And like you said, it creates a memory that they will never forget. There's a way around everything, but communication is so important, communicating how you feel, and let's figure this out. Or like you said, hey, you're not doing anything this week, we're going to go somewhere, and the other person has to say okay, instead of, oh, but this business I need to, no, your calendar says you are free, so we're going to go away. There's no phones. Now, you were talking about the phone, and I had to laugh because, my family is spread out everywhere, my kids and everything. So I keep my phone on because I'm not around a lot of family. And in my immediate family, something happens, I need people to be in contact with me. But I was with Dr. V. This had to be last December. No, was it? Yeah, I think it was last December. So she picked me up from the airport, and my phone, like yours, is non-stop all day, all night long. So I get in the car, and the phone's like ding, ding, zzz,
Ding.
zzz, ding, ding, and she's like, April, is that your phone? I was like, oh yes, I'll put it on vibrate. Almost a year later, this phone is still on vibrate, because in the middle of the night, it would ring, it would make a noise, and I'm up. And I'm already a light sleeper. So it makes a noise, and I'm up and I'm looking to see what's going on. So now in the middle of the night, that sucker's on vibrate, and it can now I will, because it's connected to my Fitbit. So if someone calls me, my Fitbit starts to vibrate, so that'll get me up. But other than that, I wake up to all kind of notifications. Like, no, not gonna. Not doing it. So I'm gonna text to the phone. Oh my God, the phone. But it's good not to have the phone ringing, and just because then it's annoying. Like, I can't believe this, but I don't want to lose myself in everything that's going on with business partners and business and all of that. I don't want to just be consumed like all the time. No, I gotta have April time, and then I gotta have time for Jason too. Like, I can't. I no, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, exactly. And that time for you is so
Yeah.
crucial. It was like we were joking earlier, sometimes you just need to be
Yeah.
quiet. Like, have you ever, like, I don't know, for those of you guys who are watching, like, have you ever gotten to a place where you have like done so much or talked all day to the point where like, I just want to be quiet. Like, I'm actually tired of hearing my own voice.
That's me Monday through Thursday when I'm done teaching. Like, I'm teaching from 7:30 in the morning until 12:30. But then after that, it's meetings and other stuff I got going on. And then I go pick Ariel up from school, and she's like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just sitting there like, I just want to be quiet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's my Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. Exactly. Any days that I host consultations, especially if I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again, I'm like, okay, Lord, we got to figure out a more efficient way of doing this, because I don't want to say the same thing 12 times in one day. Like, I need y'all all on the same group call, so you hear it all at the same time and say it once
and then be done. And make sure you take some notes so I don't have to repeat myself, because that's going to annoy me. Yeah.
Exactly. Either that or I'm about to do a video recording. Okay.
You know
so
what?
we go play this and email me any questions.
That's good. I'm going to record this video and give you this information. And if you have questions, don't call me, send me an email, and I will respond in 24 to 48 hours, which for me ends up
exactly. Am I early?
Because I just don't want to. I just don't.
Exactly. Listen, that's sometimes how you have to be. Efficiency will probably allow you to keep some of that on side of you as well. But yeah, do the work for yourself, getting to know you. It's a very scary thing for a lot of people. It is not easy. It requires some work. Because getting to know you is the great parts of you as well as the not so great parts of you. And everybody is flawed. Everybody comes to the table with baggage, and nobody's baggage is greater or better or less than someone else's. But taking that time to really get to know you will get you to a place, like April was saying, where she's like, I love who I am, and you couldn't pay me to go back. I have finally gotten to a place where I can say that I love who I am. I love who I'm evolving into. And you're absolutely right. You could not pay me to go back to that. So someone has got to be able to take me for who I am or leave me alone.
Facts.
And guess what? I'm not taking that personally. Because just because I am not your cup of tea doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with this cup of tea. It just means that your taste buds don't fit what I got going on inside the cup.
I'm not for everybody.
And not ever. Listen, exactly. My tea was not for you.
Yes.
Thank you for tasting and moving on. And you tasted from the overflow, okay? You sip from the saucer. You didn't even sip from the actual cup. Okay, because nobody gets to pull that handle no more. Okay, you don't get to come to the handle with the cup. That's not for you,
and that's okay.
Get your straw at the end of the saucer and take that, because that's what I got for y'all.
When I see in past, when I've seen myself get too consumed with work, because I've seen that. Oh my God! Just when I started working at the college in New Jersey. There was so much work that needed to be done. And my passion for teaching and for surgery turned into, and I've never admitted to this, but I believe it turned into an obsession with that program because there were so many things that I was working towards accomplishing. And even on the weekends, so I was on salary, but I was putting in probably 80 to 100 hours a week because I was working on the weekends, revamping this, doing this, instead of strategically planning my days where have my to-do list and don't spend a lot of time on get this done because my kids are at home. When I lived in Arizona, it was a different situation because I was trying to make ends meet and take care of the family because my partner at the time was not helping me. So I had to do that. So I was working like 2 or 3 places in a day. And I'll never forget my daughter was like, Mom, you're never here. And that made me take a step back, like, wow, I'm so consumed with everything that's going on and what do this. My kids need me. And they're growing up and they're not getting what they need from me. So then I start to feel guilty. But then I'm like, you know what? I need to figure out what's going on here because this isn't working for me. This is not working and then too, because I didn't know who April really was. And I was giving in and succumbing to what they wanted me to be and how I should have been because of who I was at the time. And my role, my position at the time, I just gave in to that. Not really happy, not really fulfilled. Things really weren't going like I wanted to. And that's even with entrepreneurship. If you just lose yourself and you're constantly putting yourself on the back and it's the business, and you don't do those things that you need to for you, you're going to end up losing. It's not going to be a win-win situation. You may have some wins, but you're going to have a whole lot of losses too. So do you want to take that chance instead of just doing what's necessary? My cousin, she owns a I don't even know it's not a bakery, but it's like she makes baked goods and it's some phenomenal stuff. So she's taking a step back from that. She's also a doula. So she's taking a step back from that. Her business was absolutely booming. Now, I haven't talked to her to find out why she took a step back, but she's still a doula, but she's married. She's a newlywed. They've been married, I don't know, a few years now, but you got to have that balance. So she knew enough to take a step back. Like, I need to take a step back for right now. We're going to back up a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I had to revamp business. You know what I mean? Deliciously Dope has taken a couple of turns differently because I decided to homeschool. Doula work takes a lot of your personal time. And I don't think a lot of people really realize that. I mean, you are working technically as an independent contractor, unless, you are working specifically, with a midwife. But even in that situation, like, birth is very unpredictable. You know what I mean? 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, you get a call and you don't necessarily know when you're coming home, depending on what the phone call is saying. You know what I mean? So it takes a lot from you. And then when it comes to adding food to the business, like, that's one thing that I've learned. It's hard. Like, I've had people that say, I want you to cater my event, but the last thing that I want is for you to have to call me saying that you're at the hospital with somebody in labor. That was eye-opening to me, especially if it was like, you know what, I knew I wasn't going to have the backup or the help that should I get called in, regardless of whether or not I'm there or not, it gets done. I've had to pull back. I have literally had to say no to jobs. And when I say, like, I'm crying as I'm, writing an email saying, I'm sorry, I can't do this, because for me, I see the opportunity that's there. I know what can possibly come out of it. But because I know I'm only one person, I don't have the extra hands to do what's necessary. And I want something done at a specific quality and caliber, then I have to say no. Having to know when to say no in that respect too and walk away, that comes from knowing yourself.
Yeah.
Honest with yourself, being able to hear, Morgan, you know you can't do that by yourself. If you had 3 other people, you can most definitely pull that off. But right now, do you have that? No, you don't. So no, you can't do it. But
Yeah.
then also understand that this is not a no. This is just a no for right now.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that everything that's for me is going to come. So if I have to pass something up, I do 100% believe that God is going to bring the opportunity back around again.
Absolutely. That's the thing.
Especially if I'm being obedient to
Mm-hmm.
that no.
Yeah. And that goes straight into another whole topic of obedience too. You know, you don't lose yourself to the point that you become disobedient to what God is showing you. That right there is monumental. Don't lose yourself to the point that you're disobedient.
Yes.
Because then as
Or
soon
be
as
so wrapped up in yourself that you can't hear what you're being told to do. Because
yeah,
I know a lot of us will get in our own way. We'll think
yeah,
that we
in there.
know what's best or we're
Mhm.
going to do whatever. And God is over here like, I done told you 12 times to go left and you still moving right.
You still leaning to the right.
So now he's over here with the left blinker, like left, left. And he's not even loud about it. He's just left, left.
Yeah, just
Eventually, your subconscious will pick it up and be like, oh, wait, this part ain't working for me. Maybe I should try to go in the opposite
right.
direction. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
goodness gracious. Yeah,
I
that is another topic right there.
can you write that down? Because I know I'm going to
Yeah,
forget.
hold
Please
on. I
write
got
that
a
down.
pen.
So if you have not scanned that lovely QR code that's in the top of your screen so you can subscribe to the House of Peach so you know when we are on live and when we have events, things that are going on. 2024 is going to be amazing for House of Peach. So we want you to be in the know. So scan that QR code so you can subscribe and keep up with what we are doing because it's going to be good. But today we're talking about how to give yourself fully without losing yourself, whether it's in business or in relationship. And we have just gone back and forth between the two about your identity and knowing who you are and not forgetting who you are and what you like. You know, if you put so much of your time and you lose yourself, you can become bitter. If you become bitter, other people are going to get the brunt of that bitterness. And it's nobody's fault but yours because you didn't balance it and understand, oh, wait a minute, I'm about to go just a little too far, a little too deep in here. It's taking me out of who I am, taking me out of myself. Let me reel myself back in. Or listen to those that you have close to you that have your best interests at heart that's saying, hey, you're not like you used to be. You're kind of going out of you. You're going against what you believe in and how you were and all of the things that you've accomplished or grown into as a person. You're now slipping back away from that.
Absolutely.
And unhear that and do something about it.
Yeah. Peach said we have conversations about how we should show up for one another, and so we can be able to explore business ventures, but then also have time for us.
That communication is so key. These are my ideas. This is what I would like for us to do. What are your thoughts on it? Don't make a decision that very moment. Think about it. Weigh the pros and the cons. Count up the cost. You know, what if this happens? How are we going to handle that? What if that happens? Make sure you have an understanding and everybody understands their role and what they're going to do and how and if anything changes and if you start feeling some kind of way, then you need to say something. You need to speak up. Or if you see me changing and I'm getting to the point where I'm just not who you were with initially, then you need to say something. And I need to probably take a step back for a moment and reevaluate and reassess and make the changes. And if I really care about the person that I'm with, then I'm going to do that because it's not only going to be for them, it's going to be for me as well. Because I never know. Underlying health conditions could be forming and I don't even know it. Like I may not think that I'm stressed, but I'm stressed. I may not think that my body is responding or reacting, but it is. I can't see it because my mind is so tunnel vision on this business, and what I need to do. And tomorrow I have to do this, and I got this meeting, and I'm constantly running that over. I'm not paying attention to what my body is doing. And then I can't understand why I've gained like 40 pounds or why I can't breathe like I used to or why my hair is falling out, or why all of these things are happening. And your partner's like, yeah, I was trying to tell you about that like a month ago. And here we are. Now you have to really take a step back and rebuild yourself and really have some hard lessons. See, I
Yeah.
would rather see that they try to stay on track with keeping me and who I am, and then if I'm deviating, someone say something and I acknowledge it and I do something about it, than being put flat down. Because I've had that happen. I was in Ohio.
Yeah.
The hospital literally was right down the street from my apartment. And the surgical techs there, they didn't like to take calls. So I'm like, you don't want your call? I'll take it. That's time and a half on top of what I make. So 2, 3, or 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm getting called in. I'm not working like doing one surgery. Once you come in, like everybody wants to come in for an emergency. So I'm doing 8 hours on call, plus I'm rolling right into my shift. And I just kept doing it and just kept doing it and just kept doing it until my body said no more. And I ended up getting sick. To this day, I still don't know what I had. All I know, I was a week down. Like, had to quarantine in my place. Thank God my babysitter was there and she took care of my kids. I couldn't even really see them for a whole week. I almost lost my job. What cost? Because I lost me, my children, my life, trying to make this money, trying to do all the stuff that just do that. And my body's like, you're not doing nothing now. And it was during that time that I know God was trying to talk to me and show me some things and tell me some stuff, but I wasn't at a place where I could hear it, nor did I want to hear it. I'm just thinking about, I got to make this money. When am I going to get better? That's what literally I was thinking. When am I going to get better so I can go back to work? When am I going to get better so I can take call again? I need to do this. And when I look at my finances and how things were, I was not as far ahead as I thought. I lost what was important. My kids were little. My son was 5 months old, Zuri was 4, and Caleb was 6.
Yeah.
Here I am losing out on who I was, what I wanted to create, which was family. Right. I'm up here trying to chase this dollar.
And they could have then lost you.
Exactly.
Which then in turn changed their entire life.
Exactly.
So I mean, I look at that the same way that I look at food. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people's relationship with food, 90% of the time, is emotional. Mm-hmm. It's not about getting the nutrition value that you need or putting the fuel in your body that is necessary in order to keep you going. No. It's like, ooh, I'm really anxious. Let me go get a bag of potato chips. Mm-hmm. Ooh, I'm really in my feelings. Let me go get that, pint of Breyer's ice cream in the fridge. Right. For me, I'm the big carb person. Like, ooh, give me every pasta and biscuit you possibly can. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's me. But that's also still losing yourself.
Yeah.
Because now you are stuffing things down. You were working things away.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, you were not being obedient in the sense that God said, don't worry about where your next meal is coming from. If the squirrel and the sparrow ain't worried about it, what you worried about it for? So now you over here, what am I supposed to do? And he's looking at you like, oh, my child.
Yeah, and that's literally what I was doing.
Set her down before I have to see her face to face. Like,
and that's literally what I was doing, because I will not forget. I was so stressed out. I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I'm missing a week. I'm not getting any better, which I wasn't going to get any better because I was stressing myself out.
No. And that could have cost you 2-3 weeks. Like you said, almost your job. Just the same as people are like, oh, well, I can't really afford, organic or, healthier options because it costs too much money. No, it might cost 50 cents more. It might cost $1 more. But at $1 more with your lessening of the glutton behavior that we as Americans typically have. Like, we just eat too much. And that's because of the relationship that we have with food. So between that and then understanding that, what's going to be the cost of you in the hospital? Mm-hmm. What's going to be the cost when you get that cancer diagnosis? What's going to be the cost when you get that diabetes diagnosis? Right. Because now you're over here and now you need medication on a regular for the rest of your life. And these are things that I'm talking about are preventative. I'm not talking about things that are genetic. I'm not talking about things that we have zero control over, but that we do have a lot of control over what we put into our bodies, as well as how much we, allow stress
Yeah.
to have an effect on us.
Right.
And taking the responsibility for self in those two areas is what's going to keep especially our community thriving. We
Yeah.
have to be able to understand that this rat race that we're so used to is a farce. These things that we are striving for, especially these materialistic things, they're all going to fade away in the end.
Oh, yeah.
What are we doing right now that actually is going to matter?
Yeah.
That we're putting our time and our effort towards.
Right.
Those of us who have children, that is our legacy. When we leave, that's who's going to be left. So the real question is, what kind of stamp do you want to leave in your child? Is it one that's going to have to do as much therapy as you should be doing right now? Or is it one that you're going to be sitting there in heaven where we like to say, you know what, your mom would be very, very proud of you. Your dad would be super proud of the person that you are.
Yeah.
And no, we're not doing it for validation, but at the end of the day, it's like, you know what? No, I did them justice for all that that they put forward to make sure that I could be the best that I could be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this autonomy, we have to even teach our children, and that comes into even parenting and how we parent our children in learning how to stand their ground, know who they are, be confident in who they are, set those healthy boundaries. So they are not over here having to have these kind of conversations. They'll be living the lives that you and I are trying to create right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which are the slow, steady, easy ones.
Yep.
So
we definitely need to not lose who you are. So we've come to the end.
I know. I just looked at the time. Oh my gosh! Yeah,
we've been talking that long. So today, y'all,
one at a time, okay?
And nobody came on. They just sat here for us.
I know. I had people waving, saying, "Hey, hello, Nicole and Keenan and Mrs. Koba and Jaleesa."
Yeah. So today was our he said, she said segment, but today it's just she said. There was no he though, no he to give any feedback. But the topic was how to give yourself, but keep from losing yourself. So give all of you, but not lose yourself. And it's in business and in relationship. And, we've all missed the mark at some point in time because we've been so consumed with either business or relationship. But it's now time to wake up. Let's wake up to what's important, because I don't want to leave this world and not have who's important to me to say, my mom spent great time with us. She had these businesses, but she knew how to take time for us to spend time together as a family, for us to do things as a family. I want my grandchildren to say, Mimi was there. Mimi, we played and we did this. I didn't want them to say, Mimi was working all the time. We never really saw her. Or for my kids to say, you know what? My mom has all those businesses and she's just always working. No, I want to be able to balance that and still be who I am.
Absolutely.
I don't want to be in my marriage just going after other stuff and not paying attention to my spouse. Like I'm not doing that. He's not going to let that happen. So I know for a fact he's not letting that happen, but I'm not doing that. So we all need to evaluate where we are and evaluate our lives. And if you're losing who you are and who you desire to be and who you've discovered yourself to be, whether it's in entrepreneurship or if it's in your relationship, it's time to take a step to get back to you, because you can't be really effective being a fake, being someone that you're not.
Absolutely.
And your business is going to suffer from that. Your relationship is going to suffer from that, You want to be healthy all the way around, not only in your physical body, but in your mind and your spirit, your relationships, everything. Like you want to be healthy. I will be well-rounded and healthy. I'm not going to lose who April is, especially when I'm still discovering her and I'm having fun doing that. So much more peace in my life now that I am being me and not being held by who people think I should be or what people think I should be doing. I'm doing and living for me.
Exactly.
It's so free and just not really giving two flying flips. If you don't like what I say, that's your choice. It's not going to affect me. I'm not going to change what I say and what I do just because you don't like that. That's your choice. We all have choices. So don't lose who you are. Don't change who you are for anybody.
Right.
Unless you're throwing your clothes on the floor and they ask you to pick them up and put them in the hampers, it's right there. Now that kind of change.
Exactly. Exactly. We talking about the boundaries,
compromise
talking about the essence of who you are.
Yeah.
And we also understand that things sometimes we have to do things. We have to be in the building. We have to be working. We have to do these things. But as I was saying earlier, then either you find the place where you can be able to bring in your others, or as the partner, find out how you can be able to insert yourself in, especially if you feel like you are missing out on that time, or you know that you guys are in a period of spending that time. Like my grandmother during the summers, she didn't get off. And I spent the summers with my grandmother. So I would go to work with my grandmother Monday through Friday. And that is some of the best memories I have ever had in my entire life. Who would think going to Y&R in Manhattan was going to be tons and tons of fun? But my grandmother made it fun. And I still had tons of things that I got to do with her during the day, even if that meant that I was stapling papers for her. It was something that needed to be done. She was going to end up having to do it. She was clocked in and she had a job that needed to be done. Right. But at the same time, she also had me. So she's like, all right, well, we're going to spend some time together. And we sit and she'd be singing and she'd be working and I'm singing and I'm stapling.
And that was precious time together because you did it together.
Exactly.
And two, people, we need to pay attention to each other, especially in a relationship. It's just about paying attention to your partner. You know, you can pay attention and notice things without having to say something, and then you can just act upon it and do it. And I'm not talking about negatively. If you see they're spending, like for you, you know, you're out and you never know when babies are going to be born. And if you are their doula, you know, hey, I've been watching for a week now and she's been going and doing things and I'm seeing how she's feeling when she's coming back. Let me figure out what I can do to spend some time. Hey, don't worry about those dishes tonight. I'll take care of them in the morning. Here, come here. Let me give you a foot massage. Or here, let's listen to some music and have some wine. Whatever you want to do, but just pay attention to that person and what they have going on and how they are, so you can help alleviate that. And if we do that for each other in relationships,
the world is your oyster. I'm sorry, that's my love language right there. So
what's your love language?
Look, whatever, acts of service.
Oh, acts of service?
Whatever you want. If you can consider me whatever you want, like, yeah, you got it. Like, I will serve it to you on a silver platter. But yeah, I was like, I have to be considered in that way. And that's just because for me, I receive love as someone being into me and sometimes anticipating needs without me having to say it. I'm not expecting mind readers, but like I said, if you see me over here in the kitchen trying to cook some dinner and one kid is pulling me one way and another kid is pulling me another way and the dog is barking outside,
take your pick. There's multiple things you can do here. Or you can take over
the dog, you want to do dinner, you want one of these kids, something's got to give. Like,
yeah.
Or else I'm going to handle it all. But trust me, I have zero time for you.
Yeah. So, thank y'all for joining us today for our He Said, She Said. So next month, we're going to have 2 guests. And then probably the third and final Tuesday, we are going to, or maybe we'll do, yeah, we probably do, maybe do 2 of Where Are They Now? So we
Yes.
will have some of our previous guests that we've had at the beginning of the year, and we're going to choose who we would like to have on and just bring them on in a panel and see where they are and what's going on in their lives, and if any changes have taken place since being on the show. I know a lot of people have been connected to businesses and getting information because of the guests that we've had on, which is amazing. I know we love connecting people. It's about
Yes.
connections and networking and, getting tips and tidbits. When we had Nicole on, she's like, I want to give this information to someone to help them. I actually got her connected with someone out of Arizona. Like, here, you need to call her because her daughter was going into the same business. I said, I have somebody that would love to would mentor you. And so I gave them information. I hope they got connected, because that's what we do, that we're making the connections. So we are here from the House of Peach to inspire you, to motivate you, to push you to your next level, not only in your business, but in your life. So as you see throughout our month and our weeks, we have female entrepreneurs, and we talk about situations and things. He said, she said. Morgan, that's the icing on the cake for our month.
Yes.
I love that. So if you are a female entrepreneur, or female entrepreneurs that have not been on our show and would love to be on the show, hey, hit Morgan up, hit me up in my inbox, come on House of Peach inbox. We get all of that. Email us, let us know, because we would love to put you on the books for 2024 so we can highlight you and all of the great things that you're doing. And if you have a business and you want to bring yourself and your manager, a business partner, whomever on there, please, by all means, we would love to hear your story and share what you're doing. The connections are here. And if you have not shared this broadcast out, share it out. Share it in their inbox. Put it on your page. Put it on everywhere you can.
Yes, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff.
Yeah, like
and if you are a former guest and you are interested in being in our Where Are They Now and rollback of our All Stars for this year, please contact us so that we can make sure that we don't have any kind of scheduling conflicts. Okie dokie. I'm super excited about this.
Yeah.
I think we've had a great lineup this year. Like, some absolutely amazing.
This week has been
people.
great.
So yeah, I'm excited.
Did you see the message that Smack put in our group about it's nice to go out and hear people talking about the House of Peach? So when she's out and about, that makes me feel good, because we're reaching people, and I love that. So we want to make sure that in 2024 we kick it up a few notches, make it a little more spicy.
Absolutely. And just so you guys know, when I'm out as well and I happen to be talking about the podcast and I mention both Peach and Smack, people are like, oh. So just the same as we get the reaction, from the podcast, you guys get the reaction too. So I just wanted to say thank you again, you guys, for the opportunity to be able to do this.
Yes. Thank you for considering little old me, little old us, to host your show. We want to make you proud.
Yes.
All right, guys. So we're going to sign out tonight. Until next week. Y'all have an amazing rest of your week and weekend. Happy holidays to you. Y'all, don't lose yourself in your business and relationship. Just stay who you are. Bring value to those areas, but still remain who you are. All right. We'll see you guys next week at the same time and the same platform. We look to see you here. Tell somebody about House of Peach. We want to see you on. Have a fantastic night.
Yeah, I'm so extra. Express myself, I'm next up. Yeah, one more do say. Coming up. Yeah. Come up now.